What's going on, everybody? It's Mr. Sowers, and this is my backyard lab. It's basically just a table in my backyard. Yep. So what we're going to do today is we are going to dissect rats. Yeah. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is Mr. Sowers cutting up a rat in his backyard? And I'll tell you, it's because we are doing something called comparative anatomy. Comparative anatomy is the study of the similarities and differences in the structure of different species. The purpose of comparative anatomy is to show homologous structures between species. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk a little bit about lab safety. Do not try this at home. So some of my pieces of safety equipment I've got here, I want to show you a little bit more in detail. The first thing you will need is gloves. You will also need safety goggles. And no scientific experiment is complete without a lab coat or something that makes you look really cool and protects you from spills, juices, etc. Now that you're all safe with your three most important things, you've got your gloves, you've got your eye protection, and something to protect your body with, like a lab coat. And here we are, a juicy rat. Yes. All right. We're gonna first take a look at its external anatomy. Here is obviously you've got a head and a tail, and the head is known as the cranial region. Then in the center portion of the rat is the thoracic region, followed by the abdominal region. Another thing you may notice is there is a backside and an underside. This is known as the dorsal side. You ever seen that dorsal fin on a shark? That is going to be your dorsal side. And then flipping it over, the ventral side is the underside. Notice the whiskers. Those are known as vibrissa. Yum. This little creature has teeth just like us, but it's got two really large front teeth, and those are known as incisors. Incisors are what these animals use to gnaw. They're a gnawing creature, and those incisors will grow. Unlike us, those incisors will grow and grow and grow their whole lives. We get our adult teeth, and then after our adult teeth, we won't have any more teeth after that. But these continue to grow and grow forever until they die. It has two eyes just like us, and on those eyes, just like we have a nictitating membrane, which is this little thing that's on the inside of just on the corner of the inside of your eye. You've got them on each one. It's possibly remnants of a previous ancestor where they could actually move that nictitating membrane all the way across the eye and protect the eye for aquatic environments. Now that our specimen is laid out on the dissecting pan, we can take a look at one more external feature. And that, my friends, is the reproductive system. Which sex is this organism? That's right, this is a male. You can see because the testes are clearly visible. If this was a female, there would not be this setup right here. This specimen is lying on its dorsal side, which is the back side. So we are laying it on the dorsal side, exposing the ventral side. The first incision that we will make will be around here in the abdomen, and we're going to go all the way up the abdomen through the thoracic cavity and into the neck. The idea is we will be able to expose all of the internal organs in the abdomen and in the thorax. We have the abdomen open, and as you can see, we have lots of internal organs to take care of here and take a look at. But the first thing I want to show you is there is a separation between the abdomen, which is the belly, and the thorax, which is the chest. There's this little flap of skin that separates it. Can you see that little flap of skin? That little flap of skin right here is known as the diaphragm. It is the organ that separates the abdomen from the thorax. So that is the heart, and these are the lungs. The purpose of the heart and lungs is to pump blood throughout the entire body. All mammals have this, This is something that we all have in common. It shows common ancestry. The heart will pump the blood through the lungs will oxygenate it, and then the oxygen will go to all of our bodies. And that's what we have in common. This is the trachea, this piece right here that looks kind of like a tube. That is the connection between the mouth and the lungs, okay? And this little guy ingested a little bit of fluid right before passing. So if I push slightly on some of the lungs, you can almost see a little bit of fluid moving in that trachea. There's something dark in there. There's some fluid in the lungs. Moving past the thorax and the organs in the thorax, we're going to go below the diaphragm, and the first organ that we see is this big organ, this big dark colored organ, and that is the liver. The liver produces bile, which is kind of a fluid in your stomach. It also helps to digest fats. It's a fat digester, and it stores carbohydrates as well. Carbohydrates, as you remember, are for short-term energy use. So this organism would ingest food, and a lot of the carbohydrates would be stored right here for bursts of energy, like running around and gathering food. So that is the liver. Under the liver, you'll find the stomach, and that's this organ here. The stomach's job is to break down foods, especially proteins, and provide an energy source ultimately for this entire creature. Behind the stomach is this organ, and this organ that I'm holding right now is called the spleen. The spleen's job is to filter and store blood. This right here is known as the small intestine. The small intestine's job is, it's the main place of food absorption. Small, tiny organisms live inside of your digestive tract that helps to break down food, okay, and food waste. Back behind, kind of toward the dorsal side of things, on the back side, that little bean-looking thing, that's a kidney. Kidneys' jobs are to help remove waste from blood, and it also produces urine, so you're in luck. And the last thing we're going to take a look at today is the colon, and that would be the large intestine right here, kind of on its way out to the backside, outside of behind the testes, and that would be the rectum, right out there. Well, that was the dissection of a rat. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was action-packed and exciting. A few follow-up questions. The first one is, why do we use rats to dissect for comparative anatomy? The purpose of this is to take two organisms and compare their structures and to see. So we also have the same kind of structures as a rat. We're comparing a human and a rat. We have circulatory systems. We have respiratory systems. We have hearts and lungs and kidneys. The bone structure is very similar. Rats have front limbs and hind limbs just like we do, only we are bipedal. We walk on 2 feet. My next question is, what does dissect mean? Does it mean just slice up and cut up? No. It means to expose to view. What is the purpose of the diaphragm? Another question. The features that we were looking at today, were those homologous features or were those analogous? And the final question, what is science? The final question, what is science? Final question, what is science? All right, thank you guys very much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Peace out.
beard.